What is up, GOAT World? It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another GOAT format video. Today, we just completed the PWCQ number 57, and it was wonderful. A fantastic event, as they always often are. And as you guys know, I'm going to come at you with the top 8 deck lists. And right when I was thinking about, hey, I'm going to stop making these videos because the deck lists are kind of seeming very repetitive. There's a lot of the same decks, and there's not really a point to make these videos, especially for the PWCQs. Something amazing happened. Something crazy happened. So make sure you tune into this video and you can see the number 1 deck if you haven't seen it already. Oh my goodness. Very, very cool strategies played throughout this entire event. But before we hop on in, make sure you guys go ahead and hop onto that like button and subscribe to this channel as we're on our way to 10,000 GOAT format dueling subscribers. 43 of the game's greatest players out here in PWCQ. Number 57, a little bit smaller, and it was really cool. Really tight event. Thank you to all the judges and staff and everyone who helped get that thing off the ground, and thank you to all the participants who came out and played because it was a fantastic event. Coming in at that 8th place, it's double elimination, so it's 2-6, 2-5. You guys know the vibe, but I'm gonna call it 8th place. We have Shogun Lopez playing the Chaos Warrior strategy, bringing it back. Now, this is another deck that I think is ready to bust this metagame wide open. This is a deck that I think is really, really solid. Electing to play the Mystic Swordsman level 2 in the main deck, and you got a double Chaos Sorcerer, and you got this Warrior package. It's not as robust as you're used to seeing in like this Chaos Warrior deck, but you're going way more Chaos, a little bit less Warriors, and I think this deck is super solid. Very reminiscent to the deck that the Nano played in the AJT versus the Nano series that they had on this channel. You can go check that out. But very reminiscent to that deck. Still very, very cool and vibrant and viable strategy. I've played this deck a lot myself in testing. It's done very well. Super consistent deck. And the side deck seems pretty standard. You have the Kinetic Soldier, you have the Sakurazu Armors for your anti-warrior stuff. You're really not siding anything for control, and you really have the double Mycon for turbo. Everything else seems pretty good. Double Walk, double Dust. Love to see it. Huge shout out to Shogun, GFC champion, back at an 8th place finish, and maybe this duelist can keep rocking and get back to the GOAT format world champion. I'm sure they're going to make it eventually if they just keep playing, but they really haven't been grinding as they typically do, but I foresee them making it if we continue on. Okay, coming in at number 7, we have Ultra Instinct's finest, good teammate and friend of mine. We have the Crash Vote Shonen Jump champion as well, trying to get back to the GOAT format world championship as well, playing this GOAT control deck. Very interesting GOAT control strategy. Look, you got the Zaborg Tomato connection in there with these spies, with the Jinzo, with the Zaborgs in the main deck. You got the BLS and the Assure Priest because you're banking heavy on this creature swap situation. I think that's pretty cool. This deck seems like it can have a good matchup against Warriors and a pretty decent matchup against Control because you got these creature swaps going and you got these Zaborgs going and you have these Wing Blasts. But these Wing Blasts, looking at them, I don't know about Wing Blast overall because as a game, metagamically speaking, Wing Blast stock is at an all-time low. I'm talking plummeting and continuing to plummet. And then in a strategy like this, when you just don't have those natural discard elements like Thunder Dragons and whatnot, Night Assailants, I think it just gets a little bit worse as well because you got that Serpent that you can lean on, and maybe you can set your graveyard up for Jinzo to call and Jinzo to premature and things like that. But I just don't know if it's injury to me. But Crash Volt is a very cerebral duelist, and he plays the cards that he likes, and these are cards that he likes, and it worked out, and it got him to a 7th place finish. In the side deck, again, the second duelist coming in, leaning on these Kinetic Soldiers, got the Sakurazu Armor, triple trap to shoot in the side, probably a go first kind of thing, and Mobius and Spell Counselor are going to be in the side deck too. I like seeing Spell Counselor because there has been a Reasoning Gate revival. There has been some Royal Magical Library coming in, and having a Spell Counselor could be a difference maker and get you some dubs there. So cool GO control deck, cool duelist. Love me some Crash Volt. Of course, he's obviously going to be good enough to make it. He will make it if he just keeps dueling, but I just don't like the Wing Blast situation if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, but love to see it. Love the duelist. Okay, moving on to another 6th place finish. This duelist has so many damn tops on this season. So many, probably the most top. I would say maybe not the most wins, but definitely tops, man. This duelist is always in the damn top cut of these tournaments, and we got NateDog having a crazy, incredible season. But this duelist is getting frustrated. I can feel the frustration because I'm feeling the frustration for this duelist because they're not getting that signature win that they just want. They show up and they play so well, and as you get to the finals or they get to the top 4 or whatever, and just get completely just outdrawn out of this thing, and it's just so unfortunate. Playing this return deck, showing that this deck is a legitimate A tier level deck, Very strong strategy in GOAT format, completely severely underplayed. He does it in this Blade Knight, Shining Angel as your light with some Monarchs in there, and also the Dekoichis and the Spies as your return kind of fuel. You added some more Chaos Spawns in there. So this is full on Chaos return right here, and it's super, super good. In the side deck, you change it up a little bit. You got the Jowgant, you have the Hysteric Fairy, you have the damn roulette barrel in there. Triple Minecon. He loves Minecon. I try to talk him off the triple Minecon thing, but he just vibes with it way too hard. And that's the key to this format, I believe. And I'm starting to understand that as I see these players and I start understanding their tendencies, is that this format is about playing cards that you rock with. You can't, if I like it and you don't like it, if you just don't like the way the card is played or you don't like how it feels when you use it, then it's probably not a benefit for you to use it. And NateDog really rocks with Triple Minecon, and it works out for him because he's getting all these top performances. The Book of Moon, the main deck Book of Moon, another card he's just rocking with, protecting your chaos stuff. I think it is rock. So I love this deck. This is a deck that I may take to Texas. You know what I'm saying? You guys get your recommendations out there. This might be a deck you see me using in the GGP in Texas. I will be playing in that tournament as a duelist and maybe commentating later on. But huge shout out to you, NateDog. Huge shout out to you for your performance. Just stick with it, man. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. I'm sure you're going to make it to where you want to be. And when you make it, we're all going to celebrate. We're all going to celebrate when you finally make it past that threshold. All right. But huge shout out to you, NateDog, and keep rocking. Moving on to number 5. Number 5, we have the second goat-based strategy in the top 8. Goats have been down. The scapegoat strategy has been down. Any scapegoat meta deck is pretty much out of the equation at this point, but we have the EndUser playing Chaos Control, bringing it back, getting it another top, playing it in like that more of a hybrid kind of style, which probably is seeming to be one of the better ways to play it. You got the Night Assailants in there, so basically it's a Chaos Turbo monster lineup for the most part, and then you just have the Chaos Control elements as your spell and trap kind of stuff, and lowering some of your trap lineups and using your Go Control engine as like a little defense kind of thing. Kind of works out great. You got creature swaps, you have the scapegoats, you have the meta. The creature swaps, they kind of look a little out of place because you really don't have a lot of viable things to pass over to your opponent. But if you can pair it with the goats, it's going to be great. Or if you can get the Sangan going or the Cinder Serpent going or Tsukuyomi in a pinch, put their faith down, creature swap, take it. That's always going to be energy. I love this deck. I love Chaos Control. It's my favorite deck still, but it's obviously, you guys know where it's at in the metagame. It's just not where it used to be. Still, this deck is super solid. EndUser played it very well and made it to a 5th place finish. Side decks seem super duper standard. You got some ratio stuff in there with the Scapegoats and the Metamorphosis, triple Dust Tornado, and we're going to go one walk gang, double Dust Shoot gang, all day, gang. EndUser knocking it out, 5th place finish. Love to see it. Keep dueling. Keep bringing Chaos Control back. Chaos Control can come back. I think there's a spot for it. It just breaks way too hard. But I think a deck like this is super, super solid and can be played a little bit more. All right. But huge shout out to you, EndUser, and congratulations on your 5th place finish. All right, moving on to 4th place. Back at it again, fresh off of a GOAT Grand Prix victory. Another very hot duelist. Already got multiple invites locked up. Playing Chaos Turbo, very standard, very regular. Side deck seems standard to Dueling High. Again, more kinetic soldiers. These PWCQs, I'm seeing a lot of kinetics being played. I don't see that many kinetic soldiers in other tournaments, but kinetic soldier is just all over the map right now. And the one Wangu is going to be in there. Double Mine, Saku, another Regeki Break, and freaking Trap Does Shoot. Everything else, deck seems super solid, super standard, very regular Chaos Turbo deck. Dueling High is a great player, making it to another 4th place finish. Couldn't go back to back or whatever. Couldn't get another PWCQ win, but still, I think it's a good performance. Chaos Turbo is just gonna be Chaos Turbo. You guys know what it is. Not too much to say about it, but huge congrats for another top 4. Maybe you can get another dub. Maybe I think. But somebody got to figure this deck out soon enough. But huge shout out to you again. Keep rocking and keep dueling. And we're going to keep moving on. Okay, coming in at 3rd place, we have Alvarado again. Back at it again. Very standard Chaos Turbo deck. The last deck was, Dueling High's deck was pretty standard. This deck is basically the exact same deck, that Alvarado's been playing all season when he's playing Turbo. He just elected to go. He's got triple shoot. Dueling High played double shoot. I mean, there's really not a lot to take home there. Side deck, he changed up a little bit. You got the DD Warrior Lady. You have the Injection Fairy Lily. Those are pretty cool cards. I think Injection is super playable in this metagame. People are playing Solemn Judgment, except for Alvarado. He's not playing any Solemn Judgments. He's got the Zambiras, he's got the Kaiku, double Mind Comp, very standard deck. Torrential's back in there, love to see that. But everything else seems super duper standard. Great player, phenomenal player. Somebody actually managed to defeat this duelist and not allow him to win this tournament. So I think that is a time to cheer for the rest of the player base. But this duel is having a phenomenal season with another third place finish. Love to see it. Coming in from Alvarado and the rehab organization. Congrats to you. And we are moving on for a third place. I know third place really doesn't mean anything to this duelist. It's all about first or bust at this point. But third is still pretty good, and it's just showing this duelist consistency. All right, moving on to second place. Speaking of consistent, we have another great player that we have, Ivanrosito, who is electing to play the Chaos Control strategy, kind of similar to what EndUser was doing, but you're going to make it a little bit more rigid. No Night Assailants, kind of vintage almost, like a harkening to the past a little bit. But you got those spies in there, and you got those triple shoots in there, and this duelist just literally just did this as like an experiment, just to show like, hey, I can play Chaos Control and I can still have some success. I can still win if push came to shove. I can still win with Chaos Control. Just showing you guys that it is absolutely possible to be done. I know this duelist doesn't like this deck. He doesn't like playing Go Control based decks. He doesn't like playing these types of things. He's a very turbo purist through and through. But to just say, hey, I'm going to do this just to prove a point, I think that is kind of the mentality that some of these players need to get into. Like, I'm going to show you guys I can do this just because, there's without any other reasoning behind it. But there is a little reasoning behind it, because looking at these PWCQs, you can see all the Cypher soldiers, all the kinetic soldiers, all the anti-warrior stuff. These things can get low to the ground. They can get very aggressive. They can get unga bunga fast. So maybe having a Chaos Control or Go Control deck in your main deck, and then you side into what could be a Chaos Turbo deck, and you're very comfortable playing that strategy. You can bring the Solemns in, bring the Dust in if you need to, bring that third Regeki break in if you need to, Mystical Space Typhoon or whatever, and just play like a regular Chaos Turbo deck in the mirror. And this duelist can play the mirror very competently, so you're not going to really lose any edge in that type of scenario. Whereas you will have some type of advantage playing against the aggro decks and the earth aggro decks and the rogue stuff game one that you probably wouldn't have playing Chaos Turbo. So it's kind of like a transition thing, but a little bit more low key, and you're going the opposite way. So Turbo to or Chaos Control to Chaos Turbo. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it kind of worked out great for Ivan, and he had a fantastic tournament, made it all the way to the grand finals. But oh man, when you guys see this first place deck that this duelist ran into, when you guys see this first place deck that this duelist ran into coming in at first place in PWCQ number 57, is none other than MrBigNoodle. Okay, MrBigNoodle locked and loaded with the damn Fear from the Dark Cyberstein Zombie Monarch deck, dude. What are we doing out here? Getting absolutely busy, man. And I watched this thing. I tried to get MrBigNoodle on the stream the whole time. I'm dedicating that entire stream to MrBigNoodle. I was trying to follow his run throughout the entire, just so I can get an idea of what this duelist was cooking. And let me tell you, they were cooking out here. And this deck, I have so many questions about it, so much so that I'm actually going to reach out to MrBigNoodle, get him to come by the program and explain this deck in his own words. And then we can hop onto the ladder and play some games just so I can get a feel for it, to see what we're cooking here with Fear from the Dark Zombie Monarch, the deck. Do we have a Fiend Mega Cyber is in the deck? I love this card. I haven't found a duelist that says, hey, I hate Charlie Brown. You know what I'm saying? Everyone likes Fiend Mega Cyber. Everyone likes the Zaborg. You're just zapping and popping and Cyberstein and all over the place. And then you have these triple Fear from the Darks, which I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's got 1700 attack. There's a lot of reasons not to play this card. Okay, let's be real. There's a lot of reasons not to play Fear from the Dark in GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! But there are also reasons you should, because of swag and because of just straight up coolness. Okay, Fear from the Dark has probably never won a tournament, and now here you are, Fear from the Dark, 3 copies in your main deck with Cyberstein, and you see it. I mean, sometimes it will get delinquent duoed, and now it's on the field, and you're able to tribute it for a Zaborg or something. I don't know, or just putting that pressure down with the Cyberstein. I don't know. But we'll find out. I'm going to get MrBigNoodle to come by because the deck was absolutely moving. And he went undefeated in this tournament. And these are not slouches. These are not some geeks off the street. These are not some noobs. These are not some rookies or some novice players. These are some of the game's very best players in the bracket that he played. And he went through that thing true blue, undefeated playing this deck. So that just lets you know what is possible. People say Go format is solved. People say Go format is a complete game. You can't really do much. You can't innovate. You can't play whatever you want. You have to play these cards. And then something like this happens and totally turns that whole ideology upside down. Because if someone can load Pyramid Turtle, Fear from the Dark, Fiend Mega Cyber, Stein, Blackluster, Saborg, the deck, and bring it out here and win a tournament with it, what's your excuse? I think you can do it too. So I think that's really cool. Side deck, you got the MrBigNoodle patent pending triple bottomless trap hole technology. Genzo, Magical Merchant, Sinister Serpent is just in the side deck for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter. It's in there because of vibrations, dude. And we're going to find out why when MrBigNoodle comes by. But huge congratulations to you. And thank you so much for just daring to be different for no reason and just flexing your dueling prowess and your dueling muscle and coming out here and playing this deck and having great success with it. And congratulations on your trip to the Go Format World Championship that you will now be playing in October. Hopefully you can play something cool there as well and have just as much success. But that's all I have. Tell us what you think about these top 8 deck lists. I do like to see that some players are trying to do different things and just trying to jumpstart this metagame, even though there's no really reason to, but at least just giving it some effort and trying to do some cool things. It just makes the game a lot more vibrant and a lot better. But that's all I have. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. As always, get into the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm JDZ. I play Ghosts. Until the next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.